A softball player relies heavily on explosive leg, hip, and trunk power. So we'll begin our program using the lower body exercises. One of my favorite exercises is the traveling lunge. It uses all the musculature of the lower body used for softball. So Deanne will now demonstrate the proper technique for the traveling lunge. Notice the angle of the lead leg is at a right angle. The trail leg, the kneecap never touches the ground, and the lead knee never passes the plane of the toe. The back is straight, the eyes are forward. An alternative to the lunge is a step up. What you want to do is get a box that's high enough that the knee and hip are at right angles, and make sure that it's a stable, steady surface. Go ahead and begin exercising. Notice how the hip and knee are at right angles as she steps up. Her body is straight, her eyes are forward, she's well balanced and centered. One of the common mistakes made with step-ups or lunges are that we let the knee pass the toe. This is a lot of strain on the knee, so make sure that it's in line with the top of the foot and at right angles. Go ahead and do some more, please. This can be done with or without dumbbells. It can be done in the weight room or on the field. If machines are available to you, another exercise you can do for the legs, hip, and quads is the leg press. And what you want to do is keep your feet high on the pads. And again, as you lower the weight, your knees and hips angle at about 90 degrees. Push back up. Come on, keep coming down. And up. You can have your feet in a straightaway position, or you can have them angled slightly outward to activate more of the inner thigh muscles. The leg press is very similar to the lunge or the step up. So if elaborate equipment is not available, the other two exercises will be sufficient. We've been looking at exercises that any of your athletes can perform. This next exercise, the squat, is a very advanced exercise, and you want to perform this with athletes that have been lifting for about 6 months to a year that are older athletes. All right, Deanne, we're going to have you step up to the bar. Duck under the bar. Your eyes are focused forward on the far wall. Your feet are flat, shoulder width apart, toes are forward or slightly out, however the athlete is comfortable. We're going to make sure that we always have spotters with the more advanced lift. If you have 2 spotters, you'll have one on each side of the bar to help her up and down if she gets into trouble. And if you have 1 spotter, we'll move behind her. We're going to start with a 2 spot. We're going to have Deanne step up, take 2 steps back, get in a comfortable position. When she's ready to start squatting, she's going to keep her eyes forward, her chest out, and go down in a slow and controlled manner. If you're spotting this exercise, you want your hands under the bar, not touching it, and just helping her up if she needs help. You're doing this in a nice, controlled manner. The knees are over the toes, the hips are at right angles, and the thighs are parallel to the ground. Let's do a couple more, Deanne, and then we'll give you a rest. All right. And one more, please. Good. Now, as you rack the bar, you want to walk forward, squat under the rack, and lower the bar. Okay, we're going to give Deanne a little rest before we get her going again. Go ahead and step out. Are you ready? We're going to perform the squat with a 1 spot technique. Go ahead, lift up. 2 steps backwards. The single spotter will stay right behind the squatter and kind of squat down with her. And then just help her up as she starts to fatigue. That's good. Eyes focus forward, chest big, thighs parallel to the ground. And as I said, this is for a more advanced athlete. It's great for producing muscular strength in the gluteals, quads, and the hip flexors. With all the actions we perform in softball, we tend to generally overwork our quadriceps. And one of the most neglected areas of the body is the hamstring. You use them for sprinting, jumping, and starting quickly. So it's very important that you isolate and strengthen this area of the body. In fact, I think this is one of the most important areas to work and the most often neglected. So what we're going to do here is called a hamstring curl. And as you perform this exercise, you bring the heels toward the buttocks and lower the weight slowly, making sure that you don't lock out the knee. Just perform it in a nice, rhythmic, and slow manner. And this is the best and really the only way to isolate the hamstring group muscle. The stiff leg deadlift is a wonderful exercise for developing the musculature of the low back and the hamstrings. You can perform this lift using a dowel rod, dumbbells, a bar, or your own body weight. Notice how Deanne's eyes are forward, her back is straight, her knees are softly bent, but the knees are not producing the movement. It's occurring in the hip and in the low back area. When you come up, I want you to stand straight up, okay? Bar is very close to the body. The body comes erect and upright, and it moves in a very slow and controlled manner. You can also perform the lift with dumbbells. The same principles apply. You want the dumbbells very close to the body, arms straight, eyes forward, soft knees. And I want you to try to go through the full range of motion, get a nice stretch in the hamstrings. It's very nice. And then a more advanced lift would be using the Olympic bar with some added weight. I want you to try to get a little bit more range of motion and get a little bit more hamstring stretch. Eyes forward, back straight. Let's take the bar all the way to the ground. Very good. Nice and slow and controlled.